everybody, welcome back to another video. This one's a special request. I've been asked to do a video on cubic right angle weave. So this is an example. I'll show you this example of something which I created using cubic right angle weave. It's I took my inspiration from Game of Thrones, and it's a choker style necklace with a Swarovski crystal in the middle, and all of these pieces were made literally using cubic right angle weave. I did the little hexagons all using cubic right angle weave, and then the larger ones just extending the number of rows within that, and then joined them all together. So it was a labour of love. It took quite a while to do, but as you can see, it's a lovely piece. So I've been asked to do a tutorial just for cubic right angle weave, so here we are. Without further ado, let's get on with it. So, oh sorry, the cat's walking in front of the light. Move your butt please, thank you. So all you need is some beads and a needle and thread and some scissors. So I've already got a needle strung with 8-pound file line in the smoke colour. Just to make it easier, I'm going to do 2 different colours for the for this tutorial. Just makes it easier to see where you're putting your things, your stitches. And then what I also do is once we've worked a few rows of cubic right angle weave and we've got a bit of length, I'll show you how to turn a corner basically. So cubic right angle weave obviously requires 4 sides. So the way to start, if you want 4 sides, is to pick up 4 beads. And what we're going to do is, I don't bother with the bead stop usually. We'll go through them once and then we'll go through them a second time. And pull it into a circle. And then what I normally do is go through the first bead again, just to make it a nice shaped circle. Pull it, and there you've got your 4 sides ready to go. So with any right angle weave project, you need to build walls and a ceiling. So this is the floor of the first, I'll zoom in a little bit, hold on. So that is the floor of the first story of the building. So what you need to do is, for the first stitch on every story, you need to pick up 3 beads. Then you'll pick up 2 beads and 2 beads until you get to the last one, when you'll only pick up 1 bead. So you're going to pick up a wall, a ceiling and a wall. This is your tail. This is the way that the yarn's coming out. So what you need to do is get your wall, your ceiling and your wall, and then go back through the same bead that the thread's coming out of. And pull that tight. So there's your first wall of this story. You then go through the next bead. So we've done our pick up 3 beads. So on this one we need to pick up 2. So the very next bead that you need, if you look at it 3-dimensionally, you're going to need a wall and a ceiling. Your other wall's already there. So you need a wall and you need a ceiling like that. So this time we go through the wall from the next door and then the floor, and we'll pull that, and there you have, oops, your next wall. It'll lie flat at this stage, you don't need to worry about that. We'll pull it tight when we get to the end of this round. So again, you're going to go through the floor panel, the next bead in the floor panel, and you're going to pick up a wall and a ceiling. You're going to go down through the wall from the previous section, through the floor, and you're going to pull that tight. So there we've got 3 sides, and that's kind of what it looks like. So at this stage we're on our last wall we've done 3 walls. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So we're on our last wall. So for this one, all we need to do is we need to go through the floor, go through the very first wall bead that you did. This is why I'm using 2 colours, because it makes it easier to explain. This is the previous wall bead that we'll need to go through, but obviously we need a ceiling bead. So you pick up 1 ceiling bead. Now you can obviously do this all in the same colour. So, and then I'm going to go through all 3, the wall, the floor, and the wall, the floor and the wall from the previous row, and then at this point, this is where you need to encourage it into shape. And if you've done that properly, you will have your 4 ceiling beads sitting at the top like that. So then the walls are joined, the floor's joined, but the ceiling is only joined to the walls, it's not joined to each other. So what you need to do is go through the ceiling beads. There's 1, 2, there's 3, and there's 4. And then what I always do, is go through the first bead of that ceiling again to make that lovely circle shape. So there is your first round. Your walls are going around the side, you've got your floor and you've got your ceiling. Now that ceiling becomes the floor for the next story of the building. So we're going to start as we did before, and we need to pick up 3 beads, which is a wall, a ceiling and a wall. And you're going to go through the floor bead, which the thread is coming out of, and you are going to pull them into the first wall. So that's 3 beads for the first stitch of any story. Then we want 2, so we need a wall and a ceiling. Then we're going to go down through the wall of the previous section and through the floor. So you are currently coming out of that floor bead, so obviously you need to go through the next floor bead. Then you need to pick up 2 more beads. So you need a wall and you need a ceiling, and this time you're going down through that wall that you've just made and through the floor where you started, and then that also pulls into shape. Then you go through your next floor bead. Let's move that out of the way because it's getting in the way. So we'll go, yeah, we'll go through the next floor bead like that, and then we're ready to do the next wall. So you need to pick up a wall and a ceiling. You go down through the wall and the floor and pull that up, and finally we're on our very last section. So we're going to go through the floor and the wall ahead of us, pull it nice and tight. So you've got, for this last section, you have got a wall, a floor and a wall. So all you need to do is pick up a ceiling bead, and we're going to go down through the wall, through the floor, up through the wall ahead, and that is your last wall done. So again, all the floor and the walls are attached, the ceiling beads are attached to the wall beads, but they're not attached to each other. So you need to go round all of those beads, plus one for good measure, to make a nice foundation for the next story. So that's it coming along, as you can see. So we'll do another couple of rows and then I'll show you how to turn a corner. So we're coming out of this floor bead, first row, so we need to pick up a wall, a ceiling and a wall, and we're going to go through that floor bead and just encourage that into shape. So there's your first wall ready to come up. Then you need to go through the next floor bead. I always turn my work in my hand. So for this one, you've already got a floor and one wall, so all you need to do is pick up two beads, which is a wall and a ceiling, and then you have to go down through the wall and through the floor and pull that through, and that just nicely slots into place. Get ready for the next section. So we'll go through the floor bead. We've got a wall and we've got a floor, so we need to pick up two beads, a wall and a ceiling. Then we're going to go down through the wall, back through the floor, and there's your next section. And then we're on our final section. We've already got two walls and a floor, so we go through that floor bead, oops, butterfingers, we go up through the wall bead. This time we just need to pick up one ceiling bead and go down through the wall, through the floor, up through the wall, get that tail out of the way, and then lock all our ceiling beads together, go through all four beads, plus one to make it a nice shape. There you go. So we'll do another couple of rows with less talking. So we're starting, so we need wall, ceiling, wall. Go through that floor, and a shortcut, go through the next floor. So because we've already gone through the previous floor bead, we're ready. So this time we only need 2 beads, which is a wall and a ceiling. And we're going to go through the wall, through the floor, and through the next floor. This time we only need 2 beads, which is a wall and a ceiling, and we're going to go through the wall, through the floor. That one's, because it's taking shape, it doesn't want to go through 2 floor beads, so we'll just do the one. You'll know whether it feels good or not. So final partition, go up through the floor and the wall, pick up a ceiling, come down through the wall and go through the floor, up through the wall, and join all our ceiling beads together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 for good measure. So we'll do one more row, and then I'll show you how to turn a corner. So first thing, always pick up 3, wall, ceiling, wall, go through the floor bead on the next floor bead, pick up 2, wall, ceiling, go through the wall and the floor and the next floor, pick up, wall, ceiling, go through the wall, the floor, so that's three sides done. And then the last side, through the floor, up the wall, pick up a ceiling bead, down through the wall, through the floor, up through the wall, and then lock our ceiling beads together. 2, 4, plus 1 for good measure. Okay, so that is your cubic right angle weave. So what you then need to do is just reimagine. So at the minute we have 4 beads there, which are a ceiling, 2 walls and a floor. So we're going to knock them onto their side, and we're going to use these as a as our next floor. So you pick your 4 beads, whichever direction you're going in, and then I'm gonna come round to where I'm comfortable. So I'm just going to go through all those beads once more so that my thread is coming out there. That also helps to reinforce the corner. So ignore the colour of these currently, they are all floor beads. So now we want to make a new direction. So that's your floor. Same thing, pick up a wall, a ceiling, a wall, go through that floor bead, through the next floor bead, pick up a wall and a ceiling, then we're going back through the previous wall and the floor that we've just come out of, turn your work, go through the next floor, pick up a wall and a ceiling, go down through the wall, through the floor, through the next, obviously we're on our last section, and these are all going to be silver in this particular case, so we'll go through the floor bead, sorry, up through the wall bead, and then we're going to pick up our ceiling bead, and we're going to come down through the wall, through the floor, up the wall, and that's our first row done. So then we're going to lock our ceiling beads together, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're ready to start again. So we pick up a wall, a ceiling and a wall, go through that floor bead, through the next floor bead. This time we just need a wall and a ceiling, and we're going to come down through the wall and go through the floor, and then we're going through the next floor bead. We're going to pick up a wall and a ceiling, we're going down through the wall, through the floor, last partition, through the floor and up the wall, pick up your ceiling bead, down through the wall, through the floor, up through the wall, and then get all your ceiling beads attached together. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and there we are back at the start, and there you can see a lovely right angle join. So that is how you make cubic right angle weave. All I did, by the way, to make these hexagons was, instead of doing that corner 3 times to make a square, I made the corner 5 times and then joined the one end onto the other end. So you can make any kind of shape, but that is your cubic right angle weave and how to turn the corner. Hope that's been useful for you, and if you've got any other suggestions or anything that you'd particularly like to see, just drop me a message in the comments and I will try my best. Bye for now.